I want to guarantee you that I don't want to be a skunk. So I am going to work very hard not to be a skunk. Sawa sawa? That's why I want to address and answer your questions the best I can.
And I told you that let us be open with each other. And I want to again remind you
That the theme of today's meeting was how do we budget? What is it that you think we should include in our programs? So whatever you have said, I am taking it as a lesson. I am taking what can go into the budget. So it is not in vain. When you complain about what are we doing about the youth, that is feedback from you. That is why I am here. When you tell me about wastages, I'm already cracking my head. How do we reduce the wastages? Amze there, who has very many names, Raphael, has actually talked about us taking tea in Nairobi. That is true. But I decided to today come and take tea from Mombasa. At least there is something to appreciate me for, isn't it? That yes, I've been taking tea in Nairobi, but today I'm taking tea in Mombasa. Now let me address the questions. On the question of housing levy by Miriam, I think we need probably to sit and explain this housing program. There are various categories of Kenyans. And I'm not saying it is flawless. There are issues still need to be addressed. But there are various categories of Kenyans and how they qualify for housing, for allocation of houses. There are Kenyans who will get it almost at market price. But there are Kenyans who are getting the social housing. What we need is that the State Department for Housing must make sure that the allocation of housing is done in a transparent and is done in a way that promotes the objective for which the housing levy was formed. So there are those challenges. I take note of the challenges. But we must understand that there is no one standard way of allocating housing to Kenyans. The objective was to make sure that at least all Kenyans have decent housing as is put in the Constitution. The implementation strategy was to get housing levy, which is 1.5%. But I want to tell you, it is now not 1.5%. The effective rate today on housing is not 1.5%. It's 1.05%. And I'll explain to you why. If that housing levy was not taken from you, it would have gone to your salary and it would have been taxed. So you would have gotten 1.5% less 30%. But now, because you are contributing it to housing levy, you are paying that 1.5% and it is not being taxed. I think that is something also which I have explained and people don't understand. If you are paying housing levy of 1,500, that 1,500, if there was no housing levy, you would not have got 1,500 at the end of the month in your salary. It was going to be taxed at 30%, largely, especially if you are earning anything upwards of about 40,000. So you would have paid 1,500, you would have received 1,500 less 30%, which is 450. So you would have only received 1,050. So effectively now, with the amendments in December, which I brought to Parliament and was successful, now the effective rate of housing levy is 1.05%. Now, young people don't have jobs. What are we doing to create? This is a very, very important question. Actually, one of the reasons for the uprising of Gen Zs is because they don't have jobs. The frustration. And therefore, job creation, which is an agenda of this government and is in our Vision 2030, must now be actualized. The only way to create jobs is to focus and put your attention to the manufacturing sector. We must move away from agriculture being an end in itself. Agriculture as our backbone, as the backbone in our economy, must now support creation of jobs by supporting manufacturing. And that is why value chain must now be emphasized. We are, Honorable Abdul Samad is aware of this. Government has taken steps to create what we call CAIPs, the County Aggregated Industrial Parks. That is one strategy. And we are putting in the next budget 4.5 billion shillings. In this budget, we have 3 billion for this financial year. The problem is Parliament has failed to pass the bill for this financial year because of the tussle over fuel road maintenance levy with the counties. We are going to lose that money because of unnecessary fights in Parliament. How I wish that Parliament, going forward, we are looking for a solution with these governors. We have embarked on a solution how to get out this money and ring fence it so that we release funds. Every county, like a county like Migori, is already at 70%. I know governor here is working very hard to set up industrial park. Every county must create employment. There is nowhere where we will sit as a country and tell you now we have created employment in Garissa, go there. There are two things that the government must do. You must create an enabling environment in terms of legislation and tax regime and policies to encourage direct investment, whether foreign or local. And that is why I have said that under my watch at the Treasury, we are not going to disadvantage businesses by increasing unnecessarily the taxes, so that we stop discouraging employment, investment and job creation. But we must also invest in some infrastructure in counties like the one I've mentioned, so that we can create jobs at all levels. We already have a pool of 3.4 million Kenyans with no jobs. I don't know whether you knew that. Fresh from, those who have come out of colleges. We are churning out about 800,000 Kenyans every year who are getting into the job market without jobs. It is a crisis. It must be dealt with. So I agree with Miriam that must catch our attention. And I will combine that and respond to the issue of mining and minerals. There are only 3 sectors of our economy which contracted last year, which did not grow. Some contracted. 3, manufacturing sector, contracted. Construction sector, contracted. And mining and minerals. 3 sectors. We have decided as a government, and we have taken a decision in the cabinet, that in the next budget, we are going to target these 3 sectors to generate more employment and to have better growth in the manufacturing sector, in mining and minerals, and also in the construction industry. That is why we have raised money today. We have raised last week and today. We have raised 42 billion shillings or thereabout. We are raising more money next week, so that we pay the pending bills of road contractors to go back to the road. By the end of April, we want to have cleared, if possible, if we raise all the money that we intend to raise, to pay all our contractors, because that is one of the reasons why construction industry has contracted. We are already working and we have worked on the interest rate, which is also making construction industry not to grow. Because when banks are not giving money to private sector, people are not borrowing to invest in projects like housing, then you will not have growth in that sector. So we are paying contractors, we are bringing down interest rates so that banks can give money to you and I. You construct your house, you will employ not less than 20 people in the construction of that house. As we supplement with the government should not be the one implementing everything. We should just be creating an opportunity for investment. Let me move quickly. How do we deal with wastage in government? We must make sure that we do our budgeting properly. But this question is even more than explaining that we must deal with wastage. Because this question has directly touched on me. Even how I use chopper has been asked. And I must not run away from that. I must answer it because I'm accountable to the public. I'm a public officer. About 100 people going to Addis Ababa. By the way, nobody, I am not aware of anybody who government supported to go to Addis Ababa. You ask me a question, am I supposed to respond or I leave? If there is any public officer who used public resources to go to Addis Ababa, we have Auditor General, they will be caught. But as far as I'm concerned, because the one which was louder was the one for MPs, and they stated clearly that they were using their own money, I have no reason to doubt it. And by the way, if I have my money to go and see if Baba is winning or losing in Addis Ababa, why do you stop me from going to Addis Ababa? Why are you dictating on me not to use my money? If I use public resources and I am caught now, that becomes a question. But if you are just stopping me, then I will tell you, you must be having a problem either with Baba or myself. Yeah. If I use my money, there's no problem. If I use my salary, no problem. I can use my salary to go to Addis Ababa, come to Mombasa, go to Busia, or go to my home. It should not be an issue. But if I'm using public money, then you start asking me questions. Then I must justify why going to Addis Ababa is more important than if that money was used to give water to your household, isn't it? Yeah. So let us not also be just blank because someone said somewhere that too many people went to Addis Ababa. By the way, Baba has never gone for a seat out of this Kenya. So we had also to go and see how things are there. And if I use my money, there is nothing wrong with that. But if I use public money, I have to justify why it was important. Now, the same Alan has asked me, Alan, hapa ni kama uko na shida na mimi. Why I used a chopper. Let me ask you, and I've used chopper by the way. That is a fact. I have used chopper. And can I explain? I used a chopper, for example, to go to Tana River. Let me tell you what I saw when I went to Tana River. Since independence, the children of those Pokomo and Orma people have been eaten by crocodile as they cross from one end to the other to school because of a bridge of 100 million shillings. And in the same country, that is why I went, the reason why we should encourage, but with modesty, all government officials to move across the country. Coming here, I didn't use a chopper, I used a commercial flight. But going to Tana River, it was late. I left Nairobi, I had a meeting at State House, I left at 10, I had to go to Tana River. I could have not driven to Tana River and back that day. But now, the question you want to ask, when I went to Tana River, in the supplementary budget, I made sure that I allocated 50 million for each for the two bridges. Because why should the children of Kenyans be eaten by crocodile while other people drive back at their bedrooms on Tarmac Road? Why? Why should the Oromo people have their children they are given birth to? I can hear my brother is telling me that is commendable. If I did not go to Tana River, I am telling you today, no one would have thought of allocating 100 million to those two bridges. Because I would have sat on the 14th floor of Treasury building, seeing papers recommending 50 million, ningesema tuna pesa, we don't have, this is not a priority, must we put a bridge? This bridge has always not been there. But when I saw elderly people over 60, 70, shedding tears of joy because a bridge is going to be constructed over River Tana to help their children not to continue dying. That to me is the change that I think we need in this country. I didn't want, so now let me, in this issue of chopper, because I've been asked this question many times, because someone decided to put it that Mbandi is using. By the way, even before, I was using chopper once in a while, but I think because I was not a CS, nobody bothered. Now, you go, and then someone was saying, I go to my home using a chopper. If I go to Kakamega, there is a program which we call FLOCA. FLOCA program is financing locally led climate financing. It is in all counties, including Mombasa will come together with my brother here. We are supporting counties, they are putting money, we are also putting money. In Kakamega, the audit queries which were threatening the very survival of that program. And we are getting billions of shillings from various donors, including German, Denmark. They are giving us their billions. And you know how sensitive donors are. There was an audit query. I was also going to Kisumu the same day. The FLOCA program has a budget for oversight. They support my reaching Kakamega using a chopper. They could have fueled my car as well. But how many hours would it have taken me to go to Kakamega? We went and corrected that mess and we reopened the account of Kakamega County. And I came back to Kisumu over the same FLOCA. Then I was going to my home. So did you want the chopper to leave me on the tarmac road in Kisumu to walk to my home? If the chopper is coming to Nairobi, it had to drop me at home in the village and then come back to Nairobi so that I can greet also my people in the village. Is that the mistake that I made? If someone wants to calculate, then can calculate between Kisumu and my home how much it would have cost out of the cost, then I pay. But if anything, the chopper was coming to Nairobi, so there was no any extra expense. I think I've answered that question of chopper. On the issue of contributing to Harambee, this one, please allow me, this is an individual decision. If the president has decided to contribute to churches, why do I have to respond to that? You know whose money, you ask him. Because I have not seen any voucher. I have not seen any voucher asking me for approval of money to go and give to the church. Then I would immediately mark on that paper that we don't have a vote for supporting church events. But if this has not come to my, with a voucher, a file for me to either approve or disapprove, now you bring me to Mombasa, I come to Mombasa to engage you on the budget, then you ask me how, the following day, you will ask me why the president is wearing a tie and how he bought the tie. Honestly, you guys, let us talk about it like this, that if there is any extravagance by government officials, then we stop it. Is that not so? But asking me specific question, Mbandi, using a chopper, that, yes. By the way, using a chopper, I think you can question me. But my contribution to church, wachana na mimi hiyo ni kati yangu na Mungu. Ukipata nimetoa pesa ya serikali, basi uniulize. Because there is no provision in our laws to remove government money and give to churches. And by the way, the president has never asked me to give money for his church events. If he asked me, I will tell him, Your Excellency, with all due respect, disapproved. Not that because church functions are not important. They are important, but they are not in the budget, isn't it? So Ninge disapprove. But because he has not sought my approval, How do I get involved there? My tax, my voice, Odhiambo. Why is your tax not working? Your tax is not working probably because you have not been engaged appropriately. I thought you would go ahead and tell me how you want your tax now to work. Unfortunately, Odhiambo, you left me hanging. You only asked me, why is my tax not working? You would have told me, CS, my tax has not been working. I want my tax to work X, Y, Z. This is how I want it. Don't go outside that. What I want you to do, put money for my education. Put money to give me water. I need a road. Remove this.
I've been seeing you putting money in this budget line, tower. Hiyo ndiye ilinileta.
But thank you. I have taken out of what you have said. There is a point I've picked. That there is a Kenyan in Mombasa called Odhiambo who feels his tax is not working. So when I get back home, I'm going to ask myself, why do you think Odhiambo feels that his tax is not working? And if I get the answer now, don't blame me if I diagnose your disease poorly or wrongly. But I'm going to try to diagnose and find out why you feel your tax is not working. Vivian, you have talked about transparency and accountability and how to channel more resources to areas that touch on youth. Now you have answered, Odhiambo. Now that is the good thing of having many people. Vivian, and you spoke immediately after him. I think you also saw a gap and you took advantage. Now you have advised me. Honestly, by the way, I'm not making a fun. That is the truth. She is telling me to redirect resources to areas that would create jobs to the youth and would target youth. Is that not so? And enhance transparency. Transparency, keyword. What are the long-term strategies being developed that we are coming up with to support development? If we can be faithful, one, to Vision 2030, which I want to try very much, that our budget is aligned to the MTP4, media of 2030. And be faithful to the agenda that we start of having agriculture support manufacturing. By making sure that those crops which have long been forgotten, like coffee, we increase the production of coffee from 50,000 to 150,000 metric tons per year and do value addition before we take our coffee, which I'm told is one of the best in the world. Better than Uganda, which is of poor quality, lesser quality. Robusta is lesser quality than Arabica, isn't it? Yes, that is what I hear. I'm not an expert in coffee. So those are the things that we must remember. By the way, that's just a simple investment. Governor, let me tell these people, do you know, by injecting money, and we released 1 billion to KCC the other day, KCC has increased uptake of milk from 100,000 liters per day to now 200,000 liters per day. Promoting farmers. That is now good use of resources, where you can see marginal productivity, increase in marginal productivity. Not where we throw money and we don't even see what we are getting out of it. I was asking when we were taking Eurobond to sweep or clean Kibera. Much as making Kibera clean is very important, but the question is, why do you go to the, how many of you here would go to the bank, borrow money to go and clean, kufieka their homes, just to cut grass? Because how will you pay back the loan? We must put our money where there is value addition. Standardizing prices of commodities. You asked me, Ogola, you asked me a question about why kibiriti hapa 50 bob, kibiriti hapa 100, 10 bob, 55 bob. What I can do is to make sure that we don't have counterfeit products. Because I doubt whether if this kibiriti, they are manufactured using the same cost of production, that there would be such kind of difference in pricing. There must be counterfeit. There must be illegal smuggling of goods in the country. That is the work of KRA, customs, and everybody else. So that is what we need to stop. Because we are not going to tell the shopkeeper, please don't sell at 5 shillings. Because Kenya is a liberalized economy. Market forces. So we can't do that. The only thing you can do is to check if you are getting substandard goods coming into the country. Mama, I just wrote your name as Mama. You really spoke. And she said she loves me. Ameenda. Mama hangeenda bila mimi kujua jina lake. She's called? Nitanoti hiyo jina, ni jina tamu sana. Nikirudi nitamtafuta. She has told me to make changes without fear. By the way, siogopi. Kukuja hapa sikuomba ruhusa. And by the way, I told the president when he gave me this assignment that you did not pick a conman. You did not appoint a conman. And by the way, up to now, and I know so many people don't believe this, I have a free space to work at the treasury. Many people don't believe it. I have my freedom to work. If I didn't have it, I would leave. Sijakosa options. By the way, nikirudi constituency nitashinda tu nikuwe mbunge tena. Those who are coming from my place, they know. Sindio? Yeah, so I am here to work for Kenyans. I may not be the best. I may not achieve the highest. But wacha nijaribu kulingana na uwezo wangu. Nikishindwa, mtajua hapa, Mbandi ameshindwa tu. But not for lack of trial. I will put my effort because someone must do this thing. Things are terrible. Let me tell you, the first few months I was in that office, I lost weight. And you also, hata mukaanza kuni-enjoy kwa social media. Sasa, what did you expect? If I bought those clothes when I was a little bigger and I've reduced weight, so where do you want me to get the other weight, the other body ni put on the clothes? But things, we have not lost it completely. Again, there is this Kenya National Fish Cooperative. This one I'll take up with my colleague Goparanya. Angalia ni shida iko wapi. Qualified engineers, but we are not importing from outside. I think we must start believing in ourselves as a country. I think that is where the problem is. You find Kenya, we import everything, and anything imported is celebrated, whether human beings or even clothes. I'm not talking about marriage. I'm just talking about when you see someone, even with a ruler, someone who has even been freed from prison in his country, has come here with a ruler, ati huyo ni engineer kali. Mtu ambaye hata hajasoma, where he is, he was just a casual laborer in road construction. Engineer, but we don't respect our engineers even with PhDs. So I think I agree with you that we need to do something about believing in ourselves. David Odhiambo, you asked many questions. Why do you pay capitation, pay salaries, and still people pay school fees? I think the cost of education, cost of our services needs to be looked into. I told you, but we are also paying for even children who don't exist. We have already commissioned one, governance diagnostic of the country. Two, we are also doing audits of government MDS so that we check where we are wasting resources. In capitation, we are paying even for children probably who are not even there in schools. E-Citizen, the reason why you also pay money for E-Citizen after it has been installed is, there is what we call service fee. That system also must be maintained. You can question the amount being paid, but there must be something to maintain a system. There is no system unless we put budgetary provision every year to maintain and support the system. But if the system has to remain functioning, there must be some fee. Again, the issue of President paying 20 million has come again. I want to now leave it. I don't want to talk about it. I've already addressed it. How do we ensure the better use of our current debts? By ensuring that there is no corruption. I know kuna a bit of excitement. Mama merudi? Hiyo ndiyo sababu. Yeah. Yes, I know our Muslim brothers and sisters want to break the fast, isn't it? So can I move quickly, maybe in the next 2 minutes, Malise hizi swali zimebaki. Hizi maswali zimebaki. Now, control of budgets that we are paying outside the system. I think there was a report to that effect touching on the treasury. And allow me to respond to it in 30 seconds. Here, I think that report either was not understood or the controller of budget should have brought it out better. She said that we paid debts outside the system. First of all, let me explain to you this. Up to last year, July, all debts were paid manual. We started automating debt payment from July. We are still in the process. Some we have already onboarded, some we have not onboarded. How does someone again now condemn you for now moving to the best place from a bad one? You have already automated X. You are remaining with Y. Then someone is telling you have not automated Y. We are in the process of automating everything. Previously it was 0. We are now here. And it had to take time because the system as was crafted had categorized expenditures in terms of recurrent and development. Debt is neither recurrent, neither development. So we had to reconfigure the system. That is the process we are moving to. So when I saw it, it is like we just decided to pay outside there. And by the way, even if it is manually prepared, it goes through central bank and must be approved by controller of budget. That is why she saw it. And must now be transferred electronically. So there is nothing outside the system. Since I went to treasury, even me, I have not even been paid 1 shilling without the money going to the bank. There is no cash payment. So nikasikia someone who has even been deputy president of this country saying ati pesa inalipwa sijui inaguni. You know, no wonder some people can't succeed. Let me leave that. Let me not get into politics. Raphael, industry and digital technology. I think this was largely advice on where we need to put emphasis on to generate more employment and job opportunities. You said the country is burning. Raphael, the country is burning, why? The country is burning because someone was removed from deputy president or what? Hakuna pesa mashinani, why? Because some people took loan, which we are paying, because some people didn't pay suppliers from all the years. Now, what we are doing, I'm not the one who takes people to court. The only thing I can do is to make sure that people who have not been paid all the way, some dating back to 10 years, that we provide money to pay them because they are innocent. They are not the ones who put us into this economic situation. We must pay these Kenyans, and that is why we have received preliminary data to pay contractors and suppliers. Youth with disability, that is advice that we should also integrate them in our budgeting. Jared Clinton, fiscal stability versus political expediency. Again, you came back to church donation. No, please don't ask the president to donate to youth. Ask the president and the government and John Mbandi to create jobs for the youths. Not donate. We can't donate to you forever. Yeah. I think the best is to get how do we create job opportunities for our children and our grandchildren. The last. Hey, but again you answered yourself because you came here and said taxes. that you cannot get taxes without creating job opportunities. True. There is no way we will get taxes if people are not employed. We must create those job opportunities. That is why we are engaging here. Today, I will also engage the people in Garissa. We must look for ways, where do we put these limited resources that we have to create job opportunities for our youth and for the future generation. Sawa sawa. I want to end there and return the mic. Hey, just shout it out. Another one I will answer you straight away. Is that the only one, or you have another one? I think now what we'll do, no, our brothers and sisters want to break the fast. Please, 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 I want to respect our Muslim brothers and sisters. On the issue of university funding and even help, by the way, Treasury has released over 60% of the money. I wish I came with the figures. I will follow up with the Ministry and of Education, the line ministry, why there are challenges. On your issue of the system, maybe before I leave, I may need to get your contact. I will invite some students, a group of students. You tell me what exactly is the problem, so that we can see how to solve it. So please, please make sure, my friend, get that gentleman's number. Then we will get back to you by Tuesday. I will make sure you come, maybe with the 2 other students or 3, tukae chini, tusikie ni shida iko wapi. Can I now leave it to my sister? Can I leave it to you? You decide what to do?
Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. Asanteni sana. Sasa kila mtu amenyosha mkono. Naomba mkumbuke kwamba ndugu zetu pia Waislamu tumefunga. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for showing up today and having this very fruitful and engaging conversation with our Cabinet Secretary of National Treasury and Economic Planning, Honorable John Mbandi. Thank you very much, Waziri, for being here. I think it's been very interesting to see that vijana wetu bado wako na maswali kuhusu budget. And I think this is a very good point that we're able to take in continuously engaging. Tukiweza kuendelea, kabla tumkaribishe gavana wetu wa Mombasa, ningependa acknowledge a few of our leaders who are also in the room with us today. We have a team from Central Pastors CBO, ambayo imeongozwa na Reverend James Ngugi. We have the Regional Youth Coordinator, Charles Ayako, who is always present every single time we have a conversation about the young people. We have members of the County Executive Committee from the County Government of Mombasa. We have CCM Dan Manyala, Kenneth Mbandi, Waziri Dan. Thank you. Waziri Mbandi, Waziri Mohamed Osman, Waziri Emily, who is also a young person, and Waziri Dr. Mbwarali. Thank you very much. I would also like to acknowledge a few members of the County Assembly present in the room. Hamisi Nyota, Bomoa, Leila, MCA Leila, thank you very much, na MCA Letarazi. Asanteni sana. And Mwaka. And not forgetting our Chief of Staff of the County Government of Mombasa, Dr. Noah. Na wengi ambao mumekuja leo kuwakilisha na kuweza kuwa na this conversation of the National Youth Dialogue on the budget process. Ningependa musimame ili munyoshe mikono kwa waziri wetu kwa sababu singeweza kuwatambua nyote. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And now I would like to welcome His Excellency Abdulswamad Sharif Nasser, the Governor, County Government of Mombasa.
Haya. Amjambo. Assalamu alaikum. God is good and all the time. Now, Mbandi, I want to remind you, hawa jamaa unajua hawajui pali tumetoka mimi na wewe. Mbandi tulikuwa na yeye katika bunge. Wakati mimi na Mbandi tuko bunge lililopita, mara ya kwanza nilikuwa backbencher. Nilikuwa noisemaker kweli. Nyinyi mkiona kwa hapa kuna watu noisemaker, mimi I was the worst. Manake mimi nilikuwa upande wa opposition. Sasa nilikuwa ni first timer, nikifika pale kazi yangu mimi nikiona Mbandi anafanya hivi na mimi nafanya. Akipiga meza na mimi napiga meza na mikono miwili namna hii. Then we matured. And in the process of maturing, my party found it fit for me to be able to chair one of the most prestigious and powerful committees in the whole of Parliament. And I was the chair of the Public Investment Committee. Campaign manager wangu mwingine alikuwa ni Mbandi. Ndo alikuwa anazunguka kuhakikisha, and at that time it was one of the toughest elections. Kwa sababu kulikuwa kuna mvutano mkali baina yetu na upande wa Uhuru, kulikuwa hakuna mambo ya handshake. So they said huyu jamaa akiwa ndo chair wa PIC, hapa kutakuwa na matatizo kweli. And we had it our way, na Mwenyezi Mungu akatujalia. Mwenyezi Mungu alitujalia, whatever it is we did in Parliament. Leo mimi ni gavana wa hawa waungwana walioko hapa, and I couldn't have asked for a better job. Mbandi, tochi likumulika ile kazi ulikuwa umefanya katika park, na being the leader of Parliament, you are where you are. But I can confirm one thing as well. I don't envy your job. Naomba fadhali, kama kuna yoyote mmoja wenu hapa atajaliwa kuwa rais wa Kenya, musinipatie kazi ya CS wa Treasury. Kama mambo ni haya, tafadhalini, because you never know. I'm confident that amongst those who are here, there's someone who's going to pop up and become something. Mmoja wenu atakuja kuwa, and we can be, you know, we can reach in many levels. But I can confirm what I have learned by sitting. We boil down to 3 things. 1, people know what needs to be known. 2, there are those who don't know. But 3, there's also those who think they know, but actually they don't know. And the fact that you took the courage, you're the first CS. I don't know whether this has been done elsewhere, or I know you've done this in other parts of Kenya, but I don't know whether in any other administration, whether CS for Treasury has had the opportunity to sit down, talk to people one-on-one, have a smile with them where a smile is needed, and be tough when tough needed to be done. So you've done well. I think department ya Treasury, kama wako na watu wa communication, they need ile mshahara yao ije kwako pia, kwa sababu you are doing a better job than them in the communication department. Now I want to I want to state one thing. In this country, there's enough for everyone's needs, but there's not enough for everyone's greed. Let me repeat myself. There's enough for everyone's needs, but not enough for everyone's greed. I believe that what is out there is truly enough to be able to cater. We might not be able to turn the leaf overnight. That is an impossibility. But I strongly believe that if we can be able to take a step, that step will eventually be a leap will eventually be a run will eventually be a sprint, and we will have reached far by doing the little things that we are doing now. Collectively, we'll be able to do more. Are there challenges that this country faces? By all means, there are challenges. Coincidentally, and as I was seated there, I was saying to myself, I'm glad that the shoes John Mbandi is wearing are not shoes that would have stated opulence, or probably his watch or something. He's looking at his shoes. Because this whole conversation would have actually changed, and it would have been a conversation on what Mbandi actually wore when he was talking to the youth in Mombasa. Coincidentally, I've just come as my capacity, my party constitutional obligation. I have just come. I think that is the CS for Blue Economy. Am I right? I think that is the CS for Blue Economy. Karibu sana. Waziri, takuachia nafasi uweze kuwasalimia kisha waungwana, nitakukaribisha uweze kuwasalimia. Lakini nilikuwa nawaelezea katika mambo ambayo kwamba mumeyazungumza nyinyi hapa leo. Please hear me out very carefully, because I know the life that I've lived being in public office. I know how easy it is for words to be able to be changed. Mimi nimetoka hapa leo, my party ODM has decided to be able to come up with a solution by seeing on a 10-point agenda how we can be able to work together for the benefit of the people. Amongst the issues that we signed and we appended our signature on are the issues that you're talking about. One, where we're going to be able to ensure that there's going to be employment for our young people. That is what we appended our signature on today. Two, how we're going to be able to ensure that we build and we do not claw back on devolution. That is what we appended our signature on today. Three, every single person here has talked about public wastage, has talked about corruption. That is one of the pointers that we appended our signature on. I had someone shouting pale nyuma anasema ya kuwa pesa hakuna mashinani. That is one of the things that we actually appended our signature on today. And I want to assure you, it takes time to build, but it is very, very easy to be able to destroy. So give an opportunity. The remaining time, I'm seeing one thing is coming out clear as well. And I don't blame the young people. I truly do not blame the young people. People have lost faith in public offices. And I don't blame you, by the way. If I was you, I'd actually lose faith myself. I truly don't blame you. But we need to ask ourselves, that's the reason why we're called leaders. We need to ask ourselves, it's very easy, by the way, for me to stand here and say I'm denying everything and become a radical and talk all sorts of things. And I'll be able to get my 5-minute fame. A lot of you will put me on your WhatsApp statuses and you'll post me on TikTok and everything else. But that does not mean that what I speak and what I do will be able to ensure that you get jobs. I can only be able to get you jobs by ensuring that there's stability, and that stability will be able to bring industries in our county. That stability will be able to bring in investors in our county. That stability will be able to bring in tourism in our county. That stability will now be able to give me an equal opportunity as the governor of Mombasa to have a sit-in without emotions and tell the president of this country that I feel that some of the places where we're wasting out is resources need to go to the devolved units and not go to the state corporations. And Waziri, I want your support on this as well. The most recent one, nimeona KEFIS, something that has already been devolved to the county governments. KEFIS wanataka kuanza kucharge meli, inspection on health and all. What is the purpose of the county governments if that is going to happen? Something that has not only been devolved constitutionally, but even IGTRC recently ensured that we totally separate, and the role of KEFIS is to come up with policies. The county governments are meant to be the implementers. So this is the conversation that we need to have. And I'm looking forward, I'm truly looking forward to seeing the faces that are here 12 months from today, or probably even less than 12 months from today, telling us that truly we made the right decision, we were brave enough, we were bold enough to say that let us put emotions aside and put this country ahead where it needs to be. And I'm confident that we'll be able to take it further. Waziri, I know it's time for Adhan, and I know you, knowing you on a personal level, mambo yote unaweza kucheza nao, lakini saumu huwezi kucheza nayo. Sije ukaja shida baadaye ukanikanyagia mambo yangu ya blue economy, kwa sababu nilikufanya uwe na saumu kali kwa unyenyekevu. Hawa watu ulinirithisha wewe. Njoo karibu uweze kuwasalimia. Na as the CS is going to speak, I also want to recognize my brother that we also served with in Parliament, Ndugu Faisal, and the Speaker of the County Assembly of Mombasa, my brother Harub as well. Thank you very much.
Governor, wewe ni mwerevu sana, sababu kama ungechelewesha sifungue mwadhini tungepambana baadaye. But rafiki yangu na ndugu yangu waziri wa mambo ya fedha na uchumi, Governor Abdul Swamad, Mheshimiwa Faisal Badar, and the plans the government has going forward. Vile vile nikamsikia Kansela Kim Limona alipost jana. Abdulsamad, ulimwona Kim alipost, tuamngoja huyo Mbadi, makansela wa zamani. Sasa nilifikiri utakuja na noma, kumbe mtulia tu hapa. Waziri, nilimwona akaenda gym Saturday, akiinua chuma kikubwa, alafu akasema pale kwa post, na mngoja Mbadi. Sasa mimi nimekuja hapa kumwangalia, sija kaleta noma, kumbe ntulia. Hiyo fujo alikuwa nao kwa mtandao, nilikuwa najua leo ni kubaya, lakini ni sawa tu. Lakini ule ujumbe wangu mmoja ambaye nataka kuacha, na tukubaliane tu. tukubaliane. Haya mambo ambaye mimi waziri nimekuja hapa, today is the third time tangu nikuwe waziri. Kwa this hapa. Wewe umekuja probably the first time and many others. Tukubaliane tu, wale waliokuwa zamani walikuwa wakifanya hivi. Walikuwa wakija akiwasikiza. Did they used to interact with you? Si ndio? So tukubali kwamba mambo yanabadilika. We are coming to the ground and we are listening. Today nimeanza mimi saa 1 asubuhi nilikuwa naelekea Kwale. I went and engaged the fisher folk and the BMUs in Kwale. Nikapatia hao mradi 255 million. Nikapatia watu wa Kwale. Leo nikitoka hapo nikawa na viongozi wa mawaziri wake wawili and CECs from the entire region engaging on how we can turn around the blue economy, particularly in the coastal region and in the lake region. Kule Lake Victoria, Lake Turkana, Lake Nakuru and the coastal region. Tuko hapa kuwafanyia nini? Job. And I want to assure you, sisi si wale. Sisi si wale. Tukisema tutafanya job, tunafanya nini? Job. And I heard, when I was walking in, I heard Abdul Samad saying that he doesn't envy CS here. Anasema kwamba ati sijui mtu akiwa president hapa musimpatie kazi ya treasury. Silikuwa ukisema? When I was walking in, I heard you. Hiyo najua wazi ikija kazi ya job utaichukua tu, lakini ikitokea wezi wacha. Lakini imagine how busy the CS for treasury may be, but he's here with us today. He's here talking to us. You may not necessarily get all your answers. You may not get your answers. But do you agree with me that it's a good beginning? Sindio? Kwamba badala kuumia na jambo, afadhali uje useme likutoke. Si namna hiyo? So I am encouraged that as much as there are challenges are there. Siwezi kusimama hapa niseme hakuna challenges. Challenges zipo. But for as long as there is the willingness and the commitment to be able to face them and solve them, then we may be on the right trajectory. Tumelewana? So mimi nawaambia mimi mwenyewe mimi ni mtu ya kusikiza maneno sana and encourage you. I'm sure hapa, who was the master of ceremony? You are the one. I am sure when Mbandi finished, there may be many hands bad as you. Ilikuwa hivyo? Ilio hivyo? So what you need to do is to ask Mbandi, please find time and come back again. Sindio? So CS, nakuomba tu siku nyingine rudia watu wa Mombasa. These are very wonderful people. Mimi bana hawa wamenibeba hapa. Hapa. Nilikuwa nagonga kura mingi. Wapinzani wangu walikuwa nawaosha kweli kweli. Wakija na and really it's the goodwill. It is the goodwill of the people of Mombasa. They are wonderful people. They are wonderful people. They need to understand the issues. We need to engage them. And mimi am willing. Mimi sichoki. Mimi nilipumzika from 2022 for 2 years. Sasa niko na energy mbaya ndugu yangu. Niko na energy ile mbaya haijawahi kuwa. Ukiniita saa 1 nitakuja. Saa 2 nitakuja. Saa 3, saa 5 nitakuja. Na ukileta noma hapa ndio headquarter. Ukileta noma hapa ndio nini? Waziri. Ukinisikia kule Nairobi nimesimama alafu nasema kama noma. Kama mbaya ujue si mimi, ni hao ndio nifundisha. Kwanza huyu MC huyu ndio nifundisha. I'm just kidding. Usikufanye ukachochwa bure. But let me just say that I'm grateful that we have chosen the country. Nchi yetu is as important for us. Hakuna kitu zaidi kushinda nchi yetu. And I am in support of the decision and the call ya Raila Amolo Odinga that let us engage collectively, responsibly for the interest of the country. Mimi wajua sahi, wajua I solved so many issues. CS. Today, there was an issue for the MP from Sambweni here, who came to me, told me the issues, I solved them. I just came from Kisauni. Bezimba amenambia ana issue ya shamba sijui pale Junda. I am solving it. I am solving it. But you know why? I'm in the inside. Niko ndani, ningekuwa nje ningemsaidia vipi huyu mimi? Ningamwambia pole bro, sijali, pole bro. Ningamwambia pole, wewe tulia bana. Ningemwambia pole bro, sijali, utakuwa sawa. Na sitaki kuendelea hapo kwa sababu najua mwadhini uko karibu, sivyo? Niseme mimi mwenyewe nitarudi hapa. We engage you on matters blue economy, matters mining, matters shipping, and matters maritime affairs. Na governor usijali, hiyo umesema kefi kama nini? Kefis ni ya kwangu? Si ni mimi ndio waziri hapo? Sasa wasumbuka nini wewe? Vipi huyu? Governor waharibu. Wewe unafaa uniambie tu mimi, oe vipi bro? Na mambo yana hii? Mwenyezi Mungu awabariki.
Thank you very much once again. Can we have one group photo? Please stand wherever you are. We can have Waziri Mbandi. We can have Waziri Mbandi standing over here. Everyone stand wherever you are. They'll take with the audience as well. We bring the flags by my side. No, they're facing Levy so that they take the crowd. Kila mtu.
Congratulations.